Anyway, before we take this 8 precept today, and I need to finish to talk about the sila here, the number 7 and the number 8, okay? And what is the concept of uposatha, okay? 就是我们在拿八戒前哈，我先介绍，再继续解释一下第7条的戒跟第8条戒跟什么叫做布萨，好。In the number 7, so it's you do find that just say that I undertake the precept, or maybe best to translate, I take not a refrain, or I take, well, kind of like I go to refrain from doing such and such and such, right? As my ground of study or training. Okay, that's I think that will be maybe better translation. And then what I think that you take that as a training, not doing what as a training. So not doing or refrain from what as a training, like from dancing, singing, nacha, gita, vadita, and then music, basically mean listen to the music, and then go for entertainment. Visuddhasana, it kind of like you see something, various kind of seeing thing, but usually we translate as attainment. And then Madhukanta Vilevanatharana, and wearing the garlands, put the perfumes, and make up, and also put some jewelry. Okay. Now, you please understand this kind of the number 7 sila. It's for people who are having 8 precepts. Okay. Do not do that. But normally, as a lay person, as a lay Buddhist, they will observe the 5 sila, right? So, in other words, this is asking you doing that as a lay person, and then just because when you have one day, normally, as I say, maybe if you are very diligent at home, you can have your thought, okay, I'm free now, I want just to focus on meditation for 1 week, even fine. Then every day you need to recite this again, one day, every morning, okay? When normally, according to the description in the Vinaya, like about how this kind of been performed, and then it's always like the next day, when you see the sun in an old day, you see the what do you call not the dawn is night, the 英文叫什么？早上 the dusk, yeah. When you see the dusk, the sunrise, and when you see the dusk, and then you start to that means that you can start kind of like that means your how to say? In other words, because you say that you are going to have the sila one day, so when you see the sunrise, that means you could restart again. Okay. So that's why. Otherwise, so if you say that you will do this, then you do not base on this thing to make your pleasure. You see, when you say that you want to sing, you want to dance, okay. Why I want to mention this again and again, because I noticed that some people, I'm talking about at least the people I know, or the environment I used to be as a Chinese community. And then some people, when they become a Buddhist, they are really act very strange. They kind of feel guilty, that they go to dance, they go to sing, because they think that this thing is there, This is the reason why actually I have to say sometimes in some people I know, don't say other people, even when I become a Buddhist maybe about 19 years old, I guess, something like that, 18 years old maybe. And then because somehow I read this kind of thing, because whatever we read in a Buddhist text, and I read a lot in those days, and you kind of, at that time you don't understand when they talk, when the Buddha giving this addressing. we still not able to decipher whether they were addressing the monk or addressing to the lay, right? Or even sometimes, yes, addressing to a monk, we can use it, but somehow we forget what, kind of situation you have to use it. Some, not necessarily you have to use it and so forth, right? Even for the monk also, in different, depending on the occasion, something, for the monk, even sometimes when address actually that issue, highly particularly for the Arahant or for people who want to attend Arahant, then even we forget, we want to take it very, in a way, we kind of like cling on it so much that then we also sometimes could be forget the ground, where is it, the basic thing, and so forth, right? And that actually makes it a lot of conflict sometimes when we are really practice. And I always believe that Buddha, when he addressed the teaching, he's not going to make people having a conflict, even including the monk who are really serious in their practice. For example, there were cases that the monk, after learning the method, like what you are learning, something like that, learning the method from the Buddha, but the monk think that he want to go further study, training himself. So he would like to have a recluse place by himself. But the Buddha told him, no, you are not ready. You cannot go to a forest by yourself. You're cannot go to the cave by yourself. In the Udana or in the Itivuttaka, they mention several cases like that. And then the monk didn't listen. And he thought that he could. But he went. And then when he went for doing that, and of course, the first few days he feel pleasant, nice, and so forth, And after some time, just few days only, and then he feel very troublesome, very difficult, And even in the Vinaya also story, I also mentioned that sometimes even because they were not ready, and they thought they were ready, and then also the Buddha suggests that no, you shouldn't. You couldn't do that. You are not ready to be like really stay alone in such a way, and they create a lot of problem there also. And some because of that they give up because they felt so disappointed by themselves, And then they disrobe and all this kind of thing happen. I want to say in this kind of incident, not just tell you. Sometimes the incident was mentioned and kept, in the record. They have the purpose, The purpose just also telling you that sometimes this is not ready for you. Telling you that the Buddha saying this way to give it a hint that what is how to mention, to give a hint that actually the Buddha even advises to practice. They must have kind of order or something like they know the standard. Like he instruct the method, but he also tell the student this is not the time you go for that. So when we read the sutra, when we read anything that record by the text or the Buddhist scripture we have, that's when I was young, I say you don't decide for that. You just take everything, right? You don't understand the situation. Take it. So that's why some Buddhists indirectly or directly, or I would say unconsciously or consciously, because of this concept is there, they make themselves their life quite rigid. Okay, very rigid. They think, Buddhism are not allowing Nachagita Vadita, especially people who have observed this Chinese, observed these 8 precepts before, they somehow indirectly thinking, feel guilt to dance. Oh, I love dancing. You cannot tell the Buddhists you love dancing. And particularly if you always go to the Buddhist temple, right, a very devoted one, or maybe even you're a meditator. What? You always go to dancing? You'll be labeled a bad meditator. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Somehow it carried that. Okay, I'm not saying that you should go to dancing also. This is not my topic, okay? Don't go extreme also, no. But here, you see, in the 5 precepts, we don't have this thing. As a lay, you take 5 precepts, you don't have this list. Why the list is put in here? Because During this one day, this is why it's something to do with the Uposatha. When you observe the Uposatha, certainly in Buddhism, when you observe the Uposatha, it means that you are, Uposatha means you have to stay to practice seriously. Then this thing you definitely need to refrain. It's almost like even if you want to do some work seriously. No, you have to, this is a way, you need to put that aside. But you don't dance today, you don't go to listen to music, you want to listen to music that makes you happy, you put that aside. Let's say you really have to, say they want to write a report, but it takes you a whole day to write something, and you need to find something, to finish your report, You're not thinking of going to see any entertainment, not thinking of going to dance now. You're not thinking of, like doing all kind of things. You're not going out to social with the people now, so you don't have to put on all these perfume and all sort of things like that. Okay, so the purpose of here is because when you observe this, you need to just this kind of thing as a lay. You need it in your daily life. But however, when you're really serious on your practice, you will have to train your mind, more purer. But you have to learn not to rely on those kind of things. Okay, understand? So, okay. So this is sometime why I also find a little strange. Once I was in England. Anyway, somehow I met some friend on the street. And then the man was very friendly. And then he said, I'm going to one place. Why don't you go with me? Because some people come to talk about meditation. And I was fine, okay. I was kind of curious about what the people are doing. So I went there, and then I found there was a couple of American. A couple mean like a boyfriend and girlfriend, okay, young people. And since I'm there, so I just don't want to sound rude. I don't want to leave. So I just stayed and listened to what they talk. And they were like, very happily talk something else and this and that. And then now, actually they were so kind of like, almost like they found enlightenment, kind of like this. They think, the way they say it. And because they just came back from India, where did they go? They went to Pune, and the place called Pune, where, Pune is the center of the Osho, Osho. Anyone know Osho? You don't know? Okay. Osho. No, the Osho, it's very interesting. Osho, actually, you still can find a lot of his talk. In those days, you need to buy. If you go to India, even I think maybe now, but I'm sure almost 20 years back, he was really popular. But he also have a lot of scandal thing later on. So, and even in Germany had to close his society at all. And he himself, in those days, he have more than eight or the best car like that. But he have a lot of cassette. He have a lot of talk. Even when I studied in a university in those days, so we have to learn something about. Learn means that we need to read about his book too. The reason is because he was so popular at the time. Then in our study, we need to read his book in order to write something, or at least, as a student, you just care mostly about examination. And then the examination will ask you, who is this Osho and what he's different from a Buddhist. Because he's almost claimed he know everything. He know Confucius well, he know Buddhism well. Of course, Hinduism certainly very well because he's Indian. Anyway, still is very popular, but particularly 20 years ago, if you go to India, very easily you'll see these a lot of what we call white people, okay? Mostly white people, young, they all go there. Almost like that's a place for the pilgrimage. I don't want to talk about too much of the thing, but you could. But of course, there are people like him. But however, I think from some Buddhist perspective, he's a little interesting figure. Little controversial. Anyway, so because I'm not going to promote his teachings here, so I stopped saying. And they came from that then I realized they come from that, but of course I also didn't want to sound rude. Now I don't want to leave. The first thing they would do is that you need to learn how to free yourself, Okay, we always keep our image. I think it's, in a way, it's true. It's like and they say it kind of like the ego. I can understand how the way they come. As I say, I read a lot of the book from Osho already. So then, and then what they would do is that now everybody stand up, and then everybody stand up. So now you started to just they open a kind of music, okay, and now you just dance as the way you like. And the best, at least I remember, the best to dance is like just dance like flowing and then so because you're dancing, going around, then you kind of, if you really relax, you become like a. In a way, it's good, but in a way, it's you relax. That part is fine, but the other one is almost like hypnotized, kind of like this is and then this is right. And then if you find that you want to brace people, well, that's the difficult part for me. How can I brace everyone? And then you just embrace people, and then you can just brace the people and dance like this, And then when they close, I think I forgot they close or not. Forget. They had a way ask you to kind of like after some time, almost like everybody they observe kind of like exhausted already, and then they will ask you to just sit down, and then you look away your breath, So in Osho actually teaching, they look at the breath almost like a music rhythm. So and then you feel the blood almost dancing, and so forth. Actually, his writing is very beautiful. He is very eloquent. His speech is really eloquent. Some Indian people really think he's a poetically, and smart or whatever. Of course, he's a high guru, Anyway, it's. I just want to say that's certainly in a certain other perspective, but in a Buddhist perspective, because I guess you have to be when the Buddha. Saying that when you practice meditation, because this is we are not. I think if you want it to be more refined way, if you want to meditate in a more refined way, you certainly need to be really, really not based on those kind of things. You have to be really subtle. That's only by that you can be in a samadhi. I agree. Sometimes one thing is relax is quite difficult. Maybe. So that's the reason, I guess, if you ask me how the Buddhism, what's the Buddhist way, even if you want to be refined, but you still can have a physical more relaxed, doing walking meditation. That's already, and doing walking meditation. Maybe in one way because the Buddhists in the past, we never always understood meditation in a way like just 1 hour meditation or 2 hour meditation. Always take the meditation almost like at least for 1 day. At least that if you want to do meditation, like observe the uposatha as a 1 day. So in 1 day you would not be just sitting there, of course, in general. So you would just have doing a walking meditation, you're doing a reclining meditation, you take a nap, and whatever. So this is how you make your mind in conformity with that kind of relaxation. Okay, all right. Okay. Anyway, so all these things is just to say you don't do this is just because while you're really serious and you want to have a refined kind of mind training, training your mind. So that was prescribed. I want to stress this again. It's not the rule for you. Say, there are people, even like it happened during my time when I start to become a Buddhist. Even I love Buddhist teaching, but I find a lot of this kind of rule make a lot of uneasy, actually even influence me. When I become a Buddhist, I become a very serious person in a certain sense. In a way now I can tell you one thing. I shouldn't say regret the word. I become very rigid in a certain sense, even as I say, because I was young and nobody told me this kind of thing also. So I was maybe very happy because every time when I read the sutra, I chant, in Chinese system, I chant, and mantra, all this kind of thing, And And then, but a lot of entertainment at all, I'm not going. And when I say entertainment, my friends say, oh, why don't we go to see a movie? I feel going to see the movie too much, it's not good Buddhist, you know. You know, that kind of guilt, that kind of, because because in Chinese, taking 8 precepts is a big thing. Compared to the other tradition like Theravada, it's a big thing too, but compared to it, it's big thing. Because to the Chinese, taking 8 precepts, of course, it's understood as 八关斋戒嘛, when you take the 8 precepts as Uposatha, of course, it's usually the Buddhist way is explained. If you come to take the precept, they don't usually observe whole day. They don't stay. The Chinese just to come for one day and go back, right? And usually they take this 8 precept. They telling you because you come to take precept, so you can go to heaven. So that's the reason why it's really a big thing for them. Imagine when the impact is there, like, oh, if we want to go to heaven, and if you have the 8 precept, you must have that a big monk who gives you the 8 precept. That's more powerful. That's how general. Nobody explains you this way, but that's how you get it, you know. And then when you have the 1 day 8 precept, that means now you're almost like guaranteed to go to heaven now, right? And because of that, because you're almost guaranteed heaven, that's fine. That's okay. You know, that's some good motivation. At least you have positive energy, positive, feeling. But the problem is, as I say, when you understand the list is like that, then you just really think that, oh, this kind of important thing, I need to do it all the time. But the funny part is, even though they do it all the time, one part, they don't really follow that much. The number 6. But certainly it's culturally, I guess. But I think in Theravada, it's on the contrary, the number 6 is quite seriously followed. But the Chinese almost never follow. Yeah, even sometimes in not a strictly way in the temple, Chinese temple, even if you observe this 8 precept, but still, even number 6 is still almost not exist. they still offer you the dinner to eat. But anyway, now the number 7, it's like that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes when you learn Buddhism, you need to be, because that's a good part of it, because the Buddha taught every teachings from the very basic to the very advanced, right? And then also, the teaching is always served for different purpose as well. You must try to understand, serve what kind of purpose is being taught, okay? Otherwise it can make your life a little awkward. Anyway, okay. So like putting this kind of garland, and I mean like in Indian culture, when you go to social, you have to be kind of put up, nice clothes. Especially in certain occasions, how many jewelry you had to put it all on your hand, on your neck. But nowadays they stop do that much because of so many, rubber, So that's why there's also one other joke. Not the joke is true, There was certain area, some of my devotees, they live, and most of the Indian living there. And once a lot of Indian living there, after that area become very, very very famous for burglar, The reason is because they all know the Indian people like to keep a lot of jewelry. So, the gold neck and all sort of things. Also, and they also know that that's a problem now. The Indian, the Indian presence or their neighborhood, if they are all Indian, they have to be very careful about the burglar. And there was some story happened there recently, not recently, like a few years ago when I went to visit one of the devotees in a certain place. And they told us that one of his neighbors having a problem because somebody just fall down from the ladder, The reason why the lady fall down from the ladder have a very serious, injury, because she's trying to hide the jewelry. Anyway, This kind of funny story would not happen to the Chinese culture, but it will happen in different kind of culture. But I just want to say that this kind of thing, but please remember, what I find sometimes funny as a Chinese, I always say many times, I did write, I think, not that writing is like, I was in my speech too, because even when I become a Buddhist, I have the same thing. I feel guilty to wear nicely, you know. And I think then I'm attached. If I put up a good clothes, a layperson, and think, oh, me, I attach. So I try to, and even not only because the precept here, it precept asks you not to dress like this, that, but also sometimes even at least some monk, I know, they say, why you want to come here to wear so beautiful? Why? You want to attract these people? This is not a place. This is a holy place. You cannot do that. You know. That's why in the Chinese community, I think the young people are less and less. Because you kind of indirectly tell you can wear nicely to come to the temple. So, I mean, you know, whatever. And don't even think about you find your partner here, okay? Something like that. So, you know, the young generation, you don't have these people around, you know. You know, I don't want to talk too much on that perspective because I'm in the circle for very long. So that's kind of concept. So that's why you always see the way that you show if the good Buddhist and later on in at least the environment. I'm not saying all the Chinese are like that. I don't know, but I just say so far I know what I observe and the way that I learned and in the past is then you will see the way to show that you are a good Buddhist, a good practitioner. If you wear something the lighter, and even maybe in an extreme way that almost a worn out kind of clothes, oh, you are a good practitioner like that. So the temple become almost like the homeless, you know, in American sense. I didn't even know that it happened. It's true. It's almost like that. If you see people really wear nicely, come to temple, you would like. You know what I'm saying? It's. I still remember, even because I was a leader, a youth, you know, and if I see any young people, and of course I'm a youth leader, so I used to teach them singing because I play a little bit piano. I teach them to sing the Buddhist song and so forth, and also I also set up one called a mother group singing, you know. So anyway, but however, still, if you see, somehow I know that already. If the young people when they come in, if they wear too flashy, you know, too kind of like too much decoration, like as normal people go to a really important place or where, I would like, why you want to wear this in the temple like that? That's just how we have the perception in such a way, you know. But this is, I want to say, this is certainly, it's not, okay, please don't mistaken that kind of thing. When you take a precept and we are not, are two different things. And on the contrary, I believe that, of course, you are not too wearing, you know, too exposure in a certain sense, exposure of, you know, body parts. But you certainly must think that you wear the most decent way, right, to go to the temple, you know, because that is the most decent way in a way that, you know, that like you go to an important place, you wear, you think that it's appropriate, you know, the decent, not to show that, oh, I'm a good Buddhist, so you wear almost like, you know, like a very sloppy, you know, kind of part. However, but if you go to observe the 8 precepts, then you need to be not really taking those kind of things. Traditionally, some people like to prefer to wear the white color, you know, white color because in the tradition, it's always say that the white, one thing is represent the pureness, and the other thing is because also even in the Chinese general translate the lay people as the white clothed lay, So yeah, usually in tradition, I think I'm sure in old day the Buddha is the same. The thing I think I understand somewhat why the Chinese they wearing whole white to go to temple still it become a little reluctant. You know why? Anybody know why? Yeah, because in the Chinese tradition, when especially the parents pass away, you have to wear the white, complete white for, technically you have to wear the whole white for one month or 3 months. And then now, no, there's no, in old day it's one month and so forth. So that's the reason why somehow still, indirectly that wearing the whole white, it's kind of like represent that somebody important person passed away, That's the reason in the Chinese wearing the white is in a different, have a different taking. Anyway, now you know what I'm saying, that this thing is not asking you, please do not become a burden to you when you go back home, okay? And you don't have to show people really what, because you are not, you don't sing anymore, you don't listen to music anymore and so forth, Then you will be really, out of society, So, but it's very important, even the same thing. When people who are really practice, certainly you don't take this as the major for you to make your comfort that need to be understood only, But doesn't mean that you don't use that and you should feel guilty to use those things because this thing is not really like killing you, okay. All right. The number, that's why it's not put in the 5 precepts, but it's put in only in the 8 precepts when you observe the Uposatha. Okay. And the number 8 is Ujjasayana. 我会讲中文，等我先讲完一点这个。And then the Ujjasayana and Mahasayana. And I mean, so I undergo basically mean I undergo refrain from, it didn't say what, but refrain from, using, you could say, the Ujjasayana and Mahasayana, as the ground of training, okay? So, when you say the Ujjasayana and Mahasayana, it's certainly, in old days, usually you say the recline or small, but nowadays we just translate as a sit, and the big translate that as the place that you can lie down. So kind of like, as a bed. So, but here you basically mean you don't want to have a luxury one, why? Because if you have the luxury one, like sofa, for example, people sometimes ask me, say, can I do meditation on the sofa? I would say, of course you can, but I think when you have a sit too comfortable, sometimes in this kind of refined way of the meditation, then you feel you cannot improve very well. So that's the reason. The same thing for the bed. When you have like a water bed, too comfortable, like you're floating there, you might feel nice. Actually, once I slept there, I know, and it may feel very nice. But then we are talking about when you have a uposatha, right? When you have this kind of training there, then you don't want to wake up. That's one reason. And it's very hard for you even when you lie down. In a strict sense, if you really want to do a meditation, even at this like this uposatha day for 1 day, even when you lie down, you still have to keep on your meditation. Okay. For example, I forget to mention, in case there are so many things I forget to mention, the Buddha also advised that too. In case people who meditate, they have the nimitta, they have to make sure when I'm talking about freshly, you have a nimitta. You have to make sure when you recline that at least the nimitta is still there and then you fall asleep, And, and also, if the people are very drowsy, then you also have to what may best to translate this way. What is the best way to retain one's meditation to the next day? One thing is to keep the nimitta. The other people may not have a really very concrete nimitta, but it's you have to, before, like when you're doing the reclining meditation. When you lie on the bed, that time as meditation, you have to check whether the light is there, okay? And then you fall asleep. When you do that, the next day when you wake up, anyway, you somehow it's different, that you feel that you are more fresh. And then when you do your meditation, you feel that actually it would not be like a lot, like a huge disconnect from what you practice the other day. Now, let's say this guy is as a reason. That's why if we have very comfortable bed, too comfortable bed, like here, say even though it means the big one, it means the really comfortable, you definitely won't. When you have a bed just simple, it's okay, you can sleep, but you will not attach to that place. And also, like you sit in the sand, if you are sitting on the ground or sitting even simple thing, at least just to support your body. But if it's too comfortable, and then you cannot focus very well, And you actually, your attention is not on your mind, then your attention on the object that makes you really comfortable. So that would not helping you refine, let your mind be more refined, okay? So, yeah. All right. Oh, this is too long. It's almost, we have going to for breakfast now, sorry. Uposatha, just say one thing. Uposatha generally, it's, even the monk also have the uposatha. And then mostly uposatha for the lay. But sometimes the monk also talk about uposatha. The monk, when they talk uposatha, it refers to that it's a day they have to go to recite the precept, right? And they're going to recite the precept, and then they have to, before to enter the room for reciting the precept or reminding the precept, or sometimes even have a meeting, kind of like meeting, about any monk will commit anything wrong, so they will have to discuss about certain thing, what you wish to do with that. And for example, before you enter that, then you have this parivara, mean you have a kind of confession, okay, within the monks and so forth. Anyway, that kind of whole process also called uposatha. Because uposatha is just a term, but the term generally referred to is mean you have to be really check on your virtue, kind of like that. Particularly that will help you for your enlightenment for the monk, But then for the lay person, so of course the uposatha is referred to the 8 precepts that you need to check on this virtue, whether you are observing, so that at least you can meditate on 6 kind of things. Even though if you are not doing that Brahma Vihara meditation, but you still have to make sure that you have 6 recollection. Anyone remember? So you need to at least sit there and recollect what you chant. Sometime the Buddha, for example, the Buddha is called Arahant, he's called Samma Sambuddha, he's called Vichacharana Sambanno, and so forth. Why? You need to recollect the virtue. So when you recollect and recollect and recollect, you have a really, really, almost like when you overthink about a person, oh, that person is very clever, that person is very smart, he know this, he know that, and he's such a way. And how do you do? If you do that recollection, slowly you feel like you're close to that person, right? And that's why they call it recollect the Buddha. And recollect the Dhamma, you can recollect the teachings. You can recollect the main theme of the teaching. You can recollect the main theme of the about what the teaching you learn. And then you have you can recollect the sangha. The sangha there refer to not the sangha now the present mean the sangha community, but refer to either the lay people or the monks or nuns, mean either they are monastic member, either they are lay, but those people who are the saint become the Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahant. You need to recollect that, because it's very important to recollect that in a way, because if you just only have the Buddha, so that's not sufficient, because in a way it's not sufficient in the sense, he is not the same way as like the God and so forth, but his teaching can make everyone to out of the suffering, like those noble Sangha, like that, okay? So you need to do the recollection. And then then you need to recollect. Strictly speaking, if you practice observe uposatha, if either you complete focus on your meditation, but when your mind was still drifting around, you need to sometimes do the recollection also, and then recollect also the virtue, Because you need to learn recollect the virtue so that you will understand the important virtue more and more. Okay, and then you need to recollect the devas. The devas mean they are being. They can go to the devas, the heavens, all these different type of heavens. Why? Because they have the good virtue. So, and then important is not the honor them. Actually, in Buddhism, it's not like that. The Buddhists say, and then you know, I also observe my virtue nicely, so I can be them also. That's a way to recollect that. So the virtue, the deities. But I know this is a little complicated, and nowadays very people address that. Actually, in Buddhist text, you need to learn a little bit, like this heaven, that heaven, you know, like the four gardens heaven, what heaven, how the life they are, and what sort of virtue somehow they're like this, so they prepare that. So, and then you just recollect it. Well, I guess one reason why you should do that, because in Indian, of course, everybody, they don't have the concept of Nibbana in those days. And then the Buddha also need to be satisfy these people who want to go to heavens. But they don't have the correct way, the best way. But one of the way, at least you need to remind yourself, if you want to be in heaven, you have to be really good, and you can go also. So just be, if your virtue be established well, like that, you know. And the last one is the recollect. That not last, but generally we say 6, but something can be 10. But the 6, what is the 6? Then you recollect the generosity you do. I mean, you have support the temple, you offer the money, you have use your manpower to help the place, all this, you know, or you helping the poor also, and so forth and that. There's a lot of topic about this, but you need to really appreciate what you have done. Otherwise, you'll forget. But by appreciate, actually you are enhancing your karma by recognizing it. Otherwise, and that kind of appreciation is very important, because the more you appreciate, you feel that it can make you wonderful life, make you more delight, and then you are willing to do it more, like that. Okay. So that's why the 6 collection. Okay. So that's basically Uposatha. I remember once I was invited to write an article in a Muslim kind of magazine or paper, I think. Not magazine, it's a paper. So because during the Ramadan time, they had to talk about the fasting, and then the Christian, or they have their fasting. Then they asked me to write, but I'm not going to write. When I write, I didn't write it in the terms of as the Vikala Bhojana. I just write, of course I mentioned about this. I write that maybe if there's a similar thing about to the fasting as other religion is Uposatha. So that in the Buddhist concept, you know. Anyway. All right, so I will done this. I guess we don't have much time. We could go for breakfast, but during the morning, later with month, then we will start to practice the altruistic joy meditation. Okay. Before ending, I will just say a few words in Chinese at least. Yeah, okay. 就是这个八关斋戒里面，我要讲的这3件事，一个就第7条戒跟第8条戒啊。那么第7条戒，我只是要重点，我只是要说明哈。我们虽然是在持八关斋的时候才有这第7条戒，但是我们在5戒里面是没有的啊。但是当然，为什么第7条戒要在这个时候要奉持呢？因为我们在修行的时候，实际上我们都是修的不是一般的能做得到，不是说做的，就是说一般人不是一般的社会可以这么容易能教导，是比较细腻的。这个心理的这个修行，所以这些唱歌啊、跳舞啊，或者听音乐啊，或者是说去看一些电影啊 ，entertainment 这些，就是一些那娱乐的东西啊，哈。那么其实是叫你在这个时候是在以这个来不做这个为你的学习的这个 ground 哈，在八关斋戒才有嘛哈。只是要强调说，不要因为这样子变成了一个很奇怪的佛教徒啊！因为你回到家里面，因为你不一定，你真正的目的也不是要修这个修得很细。当然你要的话，当然你就要最好是有点像做八关斋的那样。但平常你的生命里面还是跟你的家里在一起跟朋友在一起，所以不要把这些变成一个很怪的人 但我只是刚才讲的很长的故事，只是说明，我就包括我刚才在学佛的时候，其实我本来是一个简单讲有点蛮活泼的人，其实这种概念慢慢自然而然不知为什么流入到我的心里面，分不出当初佛陀在教导这些的时候是针对什么状况来教导的，然后我们自然就把什么都把它拿进来。那么有的是无意识之下，有的时候是有意识之下就把它认为是这样。无意识就是你就认定，但你不知道你已经认定了这样，所以造成有时候其实也蛮多冲突的。尤其在我年轻的时候就是这样，我那时候大概是18岁还是17岁左右到18，我开始学佛就是这样，我就变成其实蛮多很拘谨的东西，但我自己感觉很良好啦。但是说实在，其实跟很多人之间的关系啊。但你怎么看，我就觉得我越来越乖，懂吗？都是有一个不是说一定要你去说真的要去跳舞唱歌，不是这个意思。但你懂我意思，就是不要把这种知道。所以为什么佛陀也是当然有智慧，他不会说这个就在我们的五戒里面没有这个不是所以这种对于一个在家人这些都是要注意的。这我最主要提。那另外一个提的就是里面当然还有这个。穿衣服也是，当然你如果今天来佛堂帮忙，你不是很方便，当然穿了一点比较让你自己做事方便，无所谓。但是本来到佛堂是应该要尊重这个佛堂，不是随随便便穿的就来佛堂，应该要尊重这个佛堂。当然你只是为了做事，就像我们来打坐，当然穿的要像打坐的轻松一点或怎么样那么当你自己打坐舒服，但不能穿得暗脏脏，对不对？那么也当然就是，如果你只是一个拜个佛的或怎么样那当然就要穿得庄重一点，这个是对这个道场的一个尊敬在佛陀时代，只要是见佛陀如果我们真的认为到佛堂就是想在看佛陀一样或者尊重这三宝那么当然就是佛法僧那么如果我们想要尊重这三宝，当然我们平常。当然，你真的有做事，你要穿你的适当的衣服。我一直讲了，要不然的话，应该在佛教来看，应该反而要穿得尊重一点穿得庄重一点。我们到一个场，我们都知道我们该穿什么样嘛，都是一样这个道理反而不是越穿越邋遢，这个佛教就麻烦了，这个就不是在佛陀时代都是穿的最好的方式来表现他对这个人尊重对不对？我也是一样的。以前我就在想，我那个时候刚开始学佛不久，我也是这样。我虽然是青年团的团长就带这个带那个，但是有些人如果他穿的太庄重，我会觉得其实我就很看不起他了。就代表我的意思说，在我那个时候，我没办法讲别人，我只能讲我的经验。从我的角度来看是这样，所以其实那时候我现在当然后来我回想过来，我就知道，其实我那个时候就是有这种看法。那我自己也是，其实我妈妈一定就知道了多少，就是我其实从来不去买衣服的，几乎哪里有男孩子从来不去买衣服的，就是受了这种概念，我觉得去挑衣服都是一个罪恶感，挑漂亮的穿就不是一个很好的佛教徒，大概这样对。OK， 那么第八条戒的这个不要坐在很舒服的椅子上，跟睡在很舒服的这个床上，大的主要是指说这样我们容易犯意了那么你就不会想起来啊。还有就是要不然你躺得太舒服，你会把整个心意都会放在那个好舒服，你就睡着了。你真的不会只有足够的支持，足够的这样就够你的心。就不会太依赖，也不会再贪着在上面，所以在你的修行上面比较容易。这就是这第八。最后我要讲的一个就是讲到布萨布萨其实布萨出家中也有布萨，那么在家中有布萨。在家中布萨其实早期的佛教把布萨翻译叫斋戒 ，OK。那么当然后来当然为了这个字斋戒，因为斋戒这个字出自于道家所以呢，反正就是会很容易搞混乱，所以后来有的佛教又觉得不要放斋戒，就把它又放回布萨其实早就把它放成斋戒就这样。那布萨出家中的布萨当然就要诵戒啦，还有一些前后的一些东西要做。那么对在家人布萨就是要持8戒，它目的就是要做6水念，就念佛、念法、念僧、念施、念天，跟布施的施念天众，但念天众不是说是什么天众多好不是，当然是好， 就念的这个天中是怎么样？他们为什么到了天中去？都是因为他们有持戒的好有这个美德的好，所以那你自己也一样，因为你有这样的美德，你也可以到这种天中去。所以你要有点像 reinforce， 就是一直要强调自己。其实你如果美德好，你还是一样可以跟他们一样那么这里面当然，如果你有修禅修的，你也大家知道修四无量心。如果你的美德好，又加上你有修四无量心，你的美德更好，你有这个梵天的福。所以呢，你不单只是因为你能到天中去，你还可以到天中里面的最强大的人，因为你的福报是比一般的禅定所得来的福报还来得大。当然，这里属禅定是指说，因为你有禅定，你的美德就更清净就像一个衣服一样，你会洗得更干净就更白这样。那么像这些你就意念这样是这样的，叫做念天那么最后一个就是念施，就是布施虽然我知道我们在中国习惯就教你要布施，不要执着都会这么说。其实，在佛法里面呢，这个都是所谓不执着，修到空性，那个是一个更高的修法。当你要做到这个更高修法之前呢，你其实先应该要能做到。现在我等一下讲一讲的，简单的就念施，一定要意念自己有做很多这个布施，比如说讲法的布施，对不对？所以人有机会跟人家分享，当然要适当的机会就跟人家分享就是讲法的布施。然后或者是做义工的布施比如说我为这个社会族群帮忙很多事情或者是捐款的布施，对不对？各方面的你有能力做的这些，你一定要意念这个，让你产生欢喜，对因为如果你不做这样的一种叫欢喜的话，你会把这个布施这件事，那布施当然包括我们用体力的，对不对？用我们的精神的用我们的这个金钱的这些，或用我们的这个嘴去讲的，不管是怎么样透过身口意这些所做出来的布施，那么如果你不把它强化，那么你这个布施其实力道就蛮弱的，懂吗？就像禅修一样，我们禅修如果做一件事情，如果今天我只是在禅修我今天禅修完就没这件事，当然你已经中了福报，就不否认像你来修的5天的放福，你有做到一些。但是如果你一直在修再重复，当然你一直强化它这个福报，是不是？懂吗？一样，当你做了这个布施，如果你能把它这个布施能一直在这个强化的，不是叫你去 show off 不是叫你去表现你怎么厉害，是你要强化你做过的这个。你有时候你做了，但是你的心念还是让它强化，对不对？这样的话，这个就是为什么要做这个，就把水念好了。那大致上，所以呢，就持这一天一夜的叫做斋戒。那么，请了解乌波萨的，其实真正在佛教来看，虽然中文翻译斋戒，我记得以前我们学习，他说什么叫斋戒呢？所以那一天在持这个时候要吃斋，这是错的。OK。我现在不是在跟你谈要不要吃斋的问题，不是跟你谈这个斋戒，在当初是因为欧波萨的翻译过去的。这个斋不是只要吃斋，反而有一条一定要守。当然，一般人哪一条要守？要持物是一定要守。斋戒的意思是指持物的意思。OK。当然后来就是因为随着文化怎么样，就变成那一天要遵守。所谓的乌波萨的，我们回它的原文，在佛陀教导的，它是指那一天要吃物。为什么？因为你有吃物的话，你就不会想那么多。哎呀，过了12点吃饱就够了，不要想吃那么多。那一天好好的把心意不要放在食物上面，但是就放在修持的心灵的修持上面。心灵这样斋戒的意思是这样。OK。不是从那个字来看，那个字是指其实早期所谓的说要持斋中文最早的时候，你看一些记载在说持斋，就是只要持午，还有穿白色的衣服。当然那个时候，因为中国人后来反正不谈了，就是因为居士本来是白衣居士嘛，就是叫持斋。OK， 持斋意思就是一定要持午的意思。那一天你是奉行持午叫持斋。OK， 好的，那谢谢。OK。那我们再继续几点？9点半嘛。那个时候我们再讲解怎么修这个习观。OK， 好，我们去吃早餐。 Oh, we forgot to take 8 precepts. No. Why don't we do that? It's okay. We do it 9:30 because we don't want the people waiting for the breakfast. It's okay. But it's nothing wrong with that because still before noon you still can take the 8 precepts. So okay, right. Sorry about that. Yeah. 我忘记我们还要拿8节，所以没关系。但是只要在午饭之前，我们都可以拿的。Okay, right. We get that at 9:30. Right. Thank you.